Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pokemon Black. It's time for a Lewis part
Well, yeah.
because there's a really short route, and then we have the gym. So there was no good place to cut. So long part today. Huzzah!
For reference, when we refer to something as a Lewis part, it is a part that is over half an hour long for no fucking reason.
No, there's always a reason.
Okay, look.
Listen, I'm just glad we're past the days where we're hard locked at 15 minutes, and then, or even worse, back when it was 10 minutes.
10 minutes and 59 seconds.
10 minutes and 59 seconds. God forbid you even tickle that 11-minute.
You guys imagine a 20-part Mega Man X playthrough?
Was Mega Man X 20 parts?
No. It was still
shorter than
digits,
that, but yeah.
Okay.
I like how, just to say fuck you bicycle riders, this entire pedestrian walkway is graded instead of just a flat surface.
But we can still ride our bikes on it anyway. So
Yeah, this is, I think, where all of the hooligan motorcycle riders hang out. If you come specifically on, like, Friday night, I think, you will see all the hip teenagers with their definitely legally bought alcohol out here.
Motorcycles have tougher tires than bicycles.
I don't know, our player character seems to be able to ride his bicycle on it just fine.
Well,
Maybe.
he's a protagonist in a Pokemon game. They could ride their bike up a gravelly mountain, probably doing
I
wheelies
certainly
off all
can't.
the sharp rocks.
I never was able to catch Rayquaza in Gen 3 because I couldn't do the stupid mock bike thing. I hate that dungeon so much. Why do you put a precision-based timing bike challenge in a Pokemon game? This isn't Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh, man.
It's because they're trying to figure out more ways to use the bicycle in gameplay. Eventually, they just settled on, in the open world, your vehicle can become a bicycle and a boat. And eventually a jet plane.
I think moves faster is really all you need for the bicycle, personally, but, you know,
But in
that's...
Gen 9, our bicycle can fly.
Faster and just keep the control tight.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Once you had a dash button, the utility of the bicycle was, you know, a bit limited. Sure, you moved a bit faster than you did while you were running, but the difference wasn't as huge as when you were stuck just walking everywhere, you know?
Yeah, but the problem with what they did in Gen 3, and I guess we'll talk about it now because I don't want to do a Gen 3 commentary. People talk about this all the time, like, oh, you skipped Gen 3, you don't want us to do a Gen 3 commentary. Because it'll be 6 parts of us talking about the game, and then another 20
I
parts.
wasn't there for most of this live. You guys couldn't stand the Gen 4 commentary. So why the fuck would you want to talk about Gen 3?
Well, here's the thing. Gen 3 is one of those games where it's like, it's certainly not a bad game. It's a plenty good game. I like that game a decent bit. But it's also kind of a, like, you know, not great, but not terrible kind of game. There's just not much to say. So do you want us to spend 26 to 34 parts being like, yep, here's the acrobike path. Yep, here we're surfing again. I'm really tired of trumpets. That would be the Gen 3 commentary.
I think there's a disconnect here because, you know, the people who really like Gen 3 have a lot to say about it. It's just that none of those people are the four of us.
I think, yeah, maybe people want us to do Gen 3 so that they can show how much they know Gen 3 more than we do.
Okay, well, listen, if you want to watch a 26 to 34 part commentary about us being bored by your favorite game, more power to you, I suppose, but you can just like Gen 3 and not care what we think.
I'll just play Fire Red and Leaf Green. Like, that's my Gen 3.
I love Fire Red and Leaf Green. They need a goddamn... Every Pokemon
You know what they need to do? They need to remake Gen 1.
Again?
Again?
Yeah.
Listen, every Pokemon Direct they do, I get my hopes up for Fire Red and Leaf Green on the Game Boy Advance Switch system thing, and every time I'm disappointed by a half an hour video where they talk about mobile games for 24 minutes and then say, then make like a 36-minute long live action trailer for some other dumb mobile game that looks like it was made for $5
Yeah,
in someone's basement.
Nintendo's board of directors are like, you know what our fans are like, the people who own our consoles. Do you know what they're most excited for? Stuff that's not on those consoles.
Listen, it's specifically the Pokemon Directs that are like this. Pokemon Presents, excuse me, where it's just like, okay, we're gonna talk about the most uninteresting shit for forever, and then say stuff that you already knew about for the one game that you're actually looking forward to later this year, and then give us your money, please.
But aren't you excited about more costume Pokemon for your puzzle game that's been out for like 3 years and no one cares about anymore?
No.
Listen, please just put Fire Red and Leaf Green on the Game Boy Advance thing. That's all I want. It would be so easy.
Well, it would be easy to a point, but they would at least have to make sure the online stuff works so that people can battle and trade.
Well, that's actually easier than it was for the 3DS, because the 3DS, if I remember correctly, none of the 3DS Game Boy Advance, Game Boy game Virtual Console stuff could do online. I think that some of them, if they had link cable functionality, could do local link cable, but none of them could do online. And that was something that they implemented for the Game Boy ports of Gen 1 and 2, which was like fucking outstanding, actually, and I'm really glad that they did that. And then but the thing is that all of the Switch Online services already have online baked into them. It's in the infrastructure. It's kind of dog shit a lot of the time. John can attest to that when we did a 4-player Kirby and the Amazing Mirror playthrough. And it was damn near unplayable.
Oh no, it was unplayable. I just toughed it out until the event was over.
Yeah. But the thing is that it does work, and honestly, for a turn-based game like Pokemon, the fact that it would be laggy as shit doesn't matter as much. So like the functionality for everything, but I suppose like Pokemon Home integration is already available, and the Pokemon Home stuff is probably honestly something that Pokemon Home would need an update to, not necessarily the Switch Online.
It's less that
service.
It would be difficult, and more that it adds hours to the quality assurance that they need to do for the product. So it's actually like a more financially expensive production than it would seem like it should be.
What I suspect is the issue is that this is not a endeavor that would make the Pokemon Company money, because the Pokemon Company does not make any money off of Switch Online. Only Nintendo makes money off of Switch Online. And Pokemon Company does not give a shit about what Nintendo thinks. So they're going to be difficult about it. That's my tinfoil hat theory.
No, that wouldn't surprise me. We only want things that'll make us money now, so that's why they don't re-release things.
I don't think it's only Nintendo that makes money off of it, but I'm not sure how the license holders for all these old games get paid for the games that get on there.
That is a good point, because there are third-party games on these services. Like there's Capcom games and Konami games and stuff like that. I don't know how they get paid. I can't imagine that they would get paid like a percentage of Switch Online subscription pricing, because only a fraction of any Switch Online subscription, Switch Online subscription holder. Why is that hard to say? Would be playing any individual game. Like, okay, yeah. Capcom puts Mega Man on Switch Online. They're not gonna get money from Nintendo from people who didn't play Mega Man, and I don't know if they're even tracking that. So maybe it's just a goodwill thing. I have no clue. So yeah, my guess again is that Pokemon's waiting to do it until, I don't know, they feel like they have a gap in their schedule and they want something. We'll see, though. Hopefully they do it next year for Pokemon 30, but we'll see. Oh, it is really weird seeing the city like this. I always forget this is one of the random changes between black and white. I played white version for this game, and so the town is all like very old-timey and like stone architecture, and I keep forgetting that in this version of the game, with black, it's all futuristic.
But you fight the old man instead of Iris, so
Yeah, it's like fitting or something. It makes the Iris being the champion in the second version of the game a little more weird when she's not your gym leader in the in the previous version of your game. But nobody cared about the old dude. Drayden is his name, right? So they weren't going to make him champion in white version. So I get it. She was also in the anime, right?
yes, she was, along with the Grass of the Trio guys, and was Brock still around at that point?
I don't remember. I fell off the anime around Gen 3. Honestly, I wasn't even really watching it at that point, but my brothers were, because they were around like 6 or 7 years old when the Gen 3 anime was going on. So it was on, so I kept up with it. So I know that Brock was still around in Gen 3. And I caught like tiny bits of Gen 4, and I believe Brock was still there. So, but I don't think I ever saw much of Gen 5's anime at all.
You know what I like about the Pokemon anime's early season is just like, okay, we need a trio of characters so that our hero has characters to bounce off of. Okay, so who are the named characters that the kids are most likely to like? They have short attention spans, so we're going to pick the 2 named characters earliest in the game. Yeah, that seems to shorten the odds a little bit.
No, that's fairly common because most kids don't beat games that they buy. I know, speaking from experience, I got to like Silphco and then got bored and restarted my adventure like 5 or 6 times as a child. So, you know, I don't know what it is about being a kid, but I did that all the time where it's just like I got halfway through a game and then just wanted to start it over again. I don't know why I did that. I just did it a lot. I don't know if I'm the only one who acted like that, but I certainly know that a couple other kids from my age also like to do that. So there's also the fact that
it very much depended on the game for me, because it's like if it's a game I was kind of mad on, yeah, I would do that. But if it was a game I really enjoyed, I tried to figure it out and, you know, get to the end.
Who is the ghost trainer in Gen 1 though? What's her name?
they're Agatha?
No.
Agatha was the lead for. If you're talking psychic, Sabrina.
Yeah. Okay. So Sabrina, I remember her. Like, Gen 1 anime was a trip because none of the gym leaders or none of the named characters really had much character at all beyond Blue being an asshole. So they amped the asshole up to 11 in Blue and had to basically invent entire new characters for the other characters. So when you got to Sabrina, she was a freaking psycho and had this whole creepy arc to her gym. And I'm just like, how does anyone get to the Pokemon League in Anime Kanto? They have to go on epic adventures for every gym. How does Gary have so many badges? Are they fake?
Probably, yes. One thing I do really like about this is one of those things, again, where if you just weren't a kid in the 90s, it doesn't make sense. But, like, the way that Ash has to deal with Sabrina in the anime feels very similar to your experience trying to fight her in the game, because she's a pain in the ass and really fucking hard, because, she's the psychic type trainer in the gen where psychic types are the most broken thing in the game. So, yeah, she would be very difficult.
I hope you have a Jolteon.
Yeah, the thing, though, is that bringing Haunter to Sabrina would not do you any good, because I think, like, the only ghost-type attack he's gonna know is, like, Lick, which is, like, I think roughly the same strength as Tackle, and Haunter's attack stat is shit in the gen where ghost-types are physical. So it's like, no, you bring something else that has high special and then just full restore until you win eventually is the way to go there.
It also doesn't help that the only ghost line in Gen 1 is also part poison, which means it's weak to psychic, so the only thing you're really going to do against psychic is if you have a Jolteon with Pin Missile.
I love that Jolteon's the best ghost type in Gen 1. It's great. Oh, I love this stupid asshole with his frickin' his frickin' head, his frickin' haircut. Oh man, this is one of the things about the pseudo-legendaries in Pokemon, because this is effectively like the Dragonite equivalent for this generation. I love this guy, but I always have a hard time justifying myself to use a pseudo-legend in a Pokemon game, just because even if you can get the Stage 1 version early enough, it always sucks so bad. Until you finally
just getting them up there?
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
Oh, God. I can't remember what level they generally evolve. Like, I think, like, maybe level 30 or 40. Until that point, like, when they get to their Stage 2 evolution, they are genuinely worthless. And they're usually fairly underleveled, too. Like, I'm trying to remember... Dratini's the one I know the best. I think Dratini you can catch in the Safari Zone very rarely. At like level 20.
It's a rare fucking catch in the water.
Yeah. Thankfully, since it's a fishing catch, you can spam and stay there as long as you want because you don't have to move. So that's something, but you're still wasting hours of your life in the goddamn Safari Zone. So, you know, there's that.
You could also get a Dratini very early in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Goldenrod, so by doing Voltorb Flip.
Oh boy, I sure love not gambling. It's my favorite thing.
Spend like 5 hours doing that to get a Dratini.
Seriously, at that point, you might as well just play the rest of the game and get a Dratini the average way.
I get that they had to get rid of the slots so that Europe wouldn't up the age rating. If I remember correctly, when they did put Red, Blue, Yellow on the Virtual Console, it got like a 16 plus in Europe because there's slot machines in the game. So like, I get it. You can't have a game like this with effectively an M rating in Europe. That cuts too much sales. Could you please just leave in the ability to buy coins so I don't have to play Voltorb Flip? Please and thank you. Fun fact, in Generation 2, it is statistically faster for you to use an amulet coin, fight the Elite Four, and buy coins than it would be to use to play the slots. Statistically speaking, because if you go to the right machine at the right time, there is like a lucky machine where you will win more often. But statistically speaking, it is still slower at the rate it would take.
The thing is, it's not just the presence of slot machines or whatever that makes it gambling. It is the presence of the ability to buy a fake currency with real currency and then try to get more of that fake currency to get other things.
Oh yeah, crypto.
Oh, okay. Listen, I've got thoughts on this because if you were, I think I might have gone on this rant before. Balatro, the fake poker game where you can use a banana to give yourself more points, and you can make illegal poker hands like 5 of a kind, and where you do not do any actual gambling because you are just earning points like any other goddamn arcade game. Got its age bump in Europe from like 3 plus or 8 plus to 16 plus because it just has gambling iconography in it because there are jokers and cards, effectively.
Yeah. Even
though there is no real gambling. However, FIFA and Madden, with its fantasy system where you buy actual money to actually gamble away fake money, still get their equivalent of an E for everyone rating.
Yes, and you know,
I'm sure they're not signing anything under the table for the regulators over there.
Joker cards.
The thing about that is people are aware that that's a problem, and there are people up in arms about it. It just hasn't been, you know, pushed into the regulations yet.
Yeah, the most I ever heard about it was when the Balatro developer was arguing with the European ratings board, whose name I don't remember, about it, and it took like 3 months for them to revert the rating back to normal. And Balatro content creators frequently get their videos age restricted on YouTube for gambling. Again, because there is cards in the game. Oh my god. I don't understand the world we live in sometimes.
If I ever do a Fallout New Vegas playthrough, I should ignore Caravan. I think I can make
You're
that.
You're gonna have to censor whatever game there is with a Balatro censor.
It's okay, Lewis. The dark story themes, copious blood and gore and body horror and mutated body parts, and extremely depressing subject matter isn't what's gonna age restrict the Fallout 3 playthrough. It's the fact that you're rolling dice at one point.
Yeah, when you score a critical hit, your enemies explode into bloody chunks. So, but Caravan is what we need to watch out for, really.
Yeah, God forbid somebody say the F word in a video game. No, like that's too bad. Like we need to censor that. But literally,
won't someone please think of the children?
Listen, how about hear me out here? Hear me out. Like mind-blowing idea coming through here. What if you paid attention to what your children were consuming, okay, and be an active parent and make sure that they're not playing anything that you would consider inappropriate for them?
Can I get that in English, please?
Okay, let me try again. Pay attention to your goddamn children. Does that make sense?
Swearing? Now who's the foul one?
Checkmate, atheist. Goddamn. Oh, man. Anyway, in short, Voltorb Flip killed Pokemon. The casino was always the best side mode.
I can't believe Pokemon's been a shambling corpse ever since Voltorb Flip.
Listen, I just love RPG casino minigames. Like, what's the game? Tales of the Abyss, that's the one. Extremely 6 out of 10 video game. 10 out of 10 casino, where in the mid game I found the casino, played poker until I got maximum tokens, and then bought an end game level sword. That therefore makes the game an 8 out of 10 RPG. Because the casino's so goddamn good.
I'm slightly confused, though, why gambling is the hill the Europe rating system decided to die on, considering it's one of the things that influences minors poorly that minors can't actually participate in, because it requires oodles of money, which minors don't have. It's not like kids can gather outside of a high school at lunch, find a secluded corner, and play slots until the end of lunch period. They smoke. That's the hill to die on.
Yeah, well, the fun fact, smoking was actually mostly gone until vaping showed up, and then tobacco use among teenagers shot up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is one of those things where just culturally, maybe gambling is just kind of one of those things where certain demographics just have a much poorer view on it. And I mean, yes, gambling addiction is absolutely a real problem. Sometimes I hear my dad and my brothers talk about their sports betting, and I'm like, guys,
yeah, it's a problem, but it's an adult problem, not a minor's problem. So I'm just like,
well, I mean, anybody can become a gambling addict. Even like it's the same kind of thing. It's just a dopamine. You're not getting.
I was gonna say like adults have casinos and shit like that. Kids and teenagers have gotchas.
Yeah, like I'm sure there's absolutely a 10-year-old out there who rolls too much in Genshin Impact or whatever.
Yeah. Granted, but that's not the stuff that's being regulated. So it's just
good.
Like,
That's. I think that's kind of the point. Is that maybe that should be regulated?
Well, yeah, it should be, but like Balatro.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's more. I find that this stuff is often very similar to the kind of like Christian panicky stuff about, ironically, Pokemon in like Harry Potter in the early 2000s, where it's like, Pokemon says evolution, so that means it's anti-Christian, or Harry Potter says witchcraft, which means it's anti-Christian, which means we have to get up in arms about it. I think it's more just a matter of people in general do not like to examine things critically. They see something and then they immediately have an emotional response and then act against it without thinking. I
I think the one time that ever like had a positive impact on anything was very, very early Magic the Gathering, because you might not know this, but Magic the Gathering originally had an anti-rule.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. I sure would love losing my $2,000 card because I lost a game of Magic the Gathering. I thought you were going to talk about the fact that there were like cards with KKK iconography on some of them, and they ended up getting banned. And then some people were upset that, oh man, this is a First Amendment blocking that I can't play with my KKK themed card anymore. This is bullshit.
Don't know about that, but I do know that Magic used to have an anti-rule, and it also had card effects that referenced your anti-card in some way. Like I think it would allow you to play your anti-card from outside of the game or do things related to that. It was just like, okay, very early on, it was realized that maybe a children's card game where players gambled over cards would not be a healthy thing for the schoolyard community. So the anti-rule was axed, and every card that referenced it was banned from the game. And
it's funny though, because that rule did end up being influential in lots of other stuff. Like in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, if you lose,
Battle City.
Yeah, if you lose, you have to give. I think it's like any card, which is how you
Your rarest card.
Your rarest card. So that's how Yugi gets like.
No, my Skull Servant. Give me the fucking Dark Magician Yugi.
Yu-Gi-Oh is influenced by Magic the Gathering in a big way. Such a big way that in the manga it was originally called Magic and Wizards, not Duel Monsters.
I get it, because the company that makes Magic is Wizards of the Coast. They're so clever and intelligent.
And even the design on the backs of the cards, that brown oval design, is based on the Magic the Gathering card back design. So, yeah. Unfortunately, the only aspect of Magic the Gathering gameplay that Yu-Gi-Oh seems to like is the combo aspect, so every deck is a combo deck or a control deck. Woo!
Yeah, I love when my opponent says 15 different things and then says, "This makes me win," and then I smile and nod and then shuffle for another game.
It sure does.
I'll just take what you said at face value and just pack up my cards and go home.
I paid $400 to make a deck for this.
I sure hope you drew your hand traps in your opening hand, because there is no mulligan.
There's no mulligan in Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, there's not.
What?
No mulligan, Yu-Gi-Oh.
What? Why? What if your hand's unplayable? Is it just sucks to be you?
It sucks to be you bricked.
Yeah, that's why every deck needs to be a super consistent combo deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, because you don't get to like redo your opening hand, so your opening hand needs to be as close to always good as possible. So whatever you draw, it needs to search out everything else that you need.
Damn, okay.
You're not going to see a turn 3 in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just never going to happen. Well, I guess unless one of the players is playing a control deck of some kind, then you might.
But then how do they have 3-part episodes of the anime where even though they only have 4,000 life points, it still goes on for forever?
Because nobody actually builds a deck in the anime. They just randomly pick cards from their collection with a blindfold on.
They will the card they need at that moment at that time.
One of the protagonists in the newer series literally does that. It's not even Heart of the Cards bullshit. It's actual magic.
Wait, so he's just literally cheating?
That's just cheating.
Like, we joke about the Heart of the Cards just being cheating, but when you can will the specific card that you need to be on the top of your deck, that is actual cheating.
To be fair, like, that's exactly what it is. Like, the Heart of the Cards, everyone knows, is just a dub thing, but, like, it's inferred, if not outright stated in the original dialogue, that Yugi can will the card he needs to the top of the deck. Like, it's all for dramatic purposes, but still, that's cheating.
My idea was always just that it was gambling. Like, okay, don't worry, guys. What I need is definitely on the top of my deck right now.
Unless it's on the bottom of the deck so that Yugi can pull a switcheroo with the exchange card to get.
Like, the only time I can think of ever being played realistically is when Joey was going up against Merrick. And he was trapped in the lava golem, and like for 3 turns, he just draws dead cards. I was like, oh, this is Yu-Gi-Oh that I know.
Variants in my trading card game? How dare they?
Ah, man.
Crap, it has Night Slash, and I'm a psychic type. Oh, it didn't do that much, actually.
It's because Drudigan sucks. Like, I wanted to make this guy work when I played the game for the first time. I was like, oh, a dragon type, and it's actually, like, seems decent. And then you catch it. It's just got bad stats, unfortunately. He looks neat, but
I was
just
gonna
not
say,
very good.
I don't really like the design of this Pokemon, though.
It's very, like, spiky and kind of Digimon-y, but I like it still.
I think it's the wings. I don't like the wings.
It's not a flying type, though. It's just pure
Is it,
dragon.
okay, again, then actually, are those wings?
No, they're wing-shaped nubulates.
Protrusions?
We would call them vestigial limbs in dinosaur speak. That's what happens when they have the tiny little arms that don't actually do anything.
You speak dinosaur?
I speak paleontologist.
They have their own language.
Sometimes it seems like that, yeah. But, like, a vestigial limb is like when a dinosaur has tiny little arms that are utterly non-functional. I'm not talking like T-Rex. Tiny as those arms are in relation to the body, those arms do move and can grab things. I'm talking more like, I think, Carnotaurus, which has these T-Rex-like arms that are just sort of hanging out there and don't actually do anything.
I think the human equivalent's like the appendix, which doesn't really do much, but gather bacteria and try to kill you sometimes.
It's kind of just like a leftover from previous rounds of evolution that hasn't completely phased out yet, you know? So...
We got our last badge.
So, the girl is not the gym leader.
She is in white version.
Oh, right. Sorry, I got my things backwards.
Oh,
Yeah,
you have an
earlier this
alternate...
part.
Oh, was this the first time they did alternate gym leaders for versions?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
Unless if you count Emerald version, where they changed the 8th gym leader because the 8th gym leader became the champion for
Well,
some
I mean, like, in the first two versions, you know? Like, in Sword and Shield, there are two gym leaders that switch out based on what version you're doing. So, I think I and approximately 70% of the players of Sword and Shield picked Sword versions specifically for the fighter gym. Although, that was an unfair decision because the Ghost gym was pretty cool, too.
I think they shared a minigame, but the gym leader was different. Yeah.
They just recolor the same minigame. Very lame.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we have all our gym badges. Time to continue on in the next part of Pokemon Black. See you guys all then. Later.